and one depends on the other for creating a fuller meaning. Subordinators are usually a single word, but there are also a number of multi-word subordinators that function like a single subordinating conjunction. They can be classified according to their use in regard to time, cause and effect, opposition, or condition. Remember to put a comma at the end of the adverbial phrase when it precedes the main sentence. Let's look at subordinating conjunctions and their classification with respect to time, cause and effect, opposition, and condition. Subordinating conjunctions of time are after, before, when, while, since, and until. Some subordinating conjunctions with respect to cause and effect are because, since, now that, as, in order that, and so. Now let's look at some conjunctions with respect to opposition. That is, there is an opposition of some sorts. Although, though, even though, whereas, and while. Let's take a look at subordinating conjunctions with respect to condition. If, unless, only if, whether or not, even if, and in case. Let's take a look at common subordinating conjunctions. After, although, as if, as long as though, because, before, even if, even though, if only, in order that, now that, once, rather than, since, so that, than, that, though, till, unless, until, when, whenever, where, whereas, wherever, and while. If you've noticed, some of them indicate a place, for example, where, while others indicate time, for example, until. So if you look carefully, each subordinating conjunction is really an adverb which is acting like a conjunction. Let's look at some examples of subordinating conjunctions. She took to the stage as though she had been preparing for this moment all her life. Now, what is the main sentence here? The main sentence is that she took to the stage very well. And to describe it, there is another sentence which says, she took to the stage so well as if she had been preparing for this moment all her life. Now, to join this dependent sentence to the main sentence, we have used the subordinating conjunction as though. Let's look at the next example. Because she loved acting, she refused to give up her dream of being in the plays. What is the main sentence here? Correct, it is she loved acting. And the second sentence is just reflecting what she did because she loved acting. And the word because is doing the act of joining these two sentences. Also, it is doing the task of giving the reason for the second half of the sentence. Let's look at another example. Unless we act now, all is lost. unless, of course, is the subordinating conjunction in this case. Let's look at some examples and sentences of subordinating conjunctions. I'll speak the conjunction first and then we'll look at a sample sentence. Let's look at the conjunction after. We are going out to eat after we finish taking the test. So there is a main sentence here, which is we are going out to eat, being joined to another sentence, we finish taking the test. And what is doing the task of joining these two sentences? It is the word after. After is also an adverb because it is indicating time. So it is the subordinating conjunction in this case. Let's look at another conjunction, since. Since we have lived in Atlanta, we have gone to every exhibit at the High Museum. Now, since is doing the task of joining one sentence to another sentence. One sentence is, we have lived in Atlanta, and the other sentence is, we have gone to every exhibit at the High Museum. Now, if you notice carefully, whenever a subordinating conjunction comes before the main conjunction, then you have to be careful about how you form the sentence. First comes the subordinating conjunction since, followed by the main sentence, which is, we have lived in Atlanta. You always follow the main sentence with a comma, and then comes the second sentence, which is dependent on the first sentence. In this case, it is, we have gone to every exhibit at the High Museum. Let's look at another conjunction, which is while. While I was waiting in line for the Métis exhibit, I ate my lunch. So while is doing the task of joining one sentence to another sentence, and it's also signifying a sense of time. Although the line was long and the wait over 2 hours, the exhibit was well worth. So in this case, as you rightly identified by now, although is the subordinating conjunction, and it is also giving a sense of opposition, that even though the line was long and the waiting was also very long, it was over 2 hours, still the exhibition was well worth. Let's look at another conjunction, even if. Even if you have already bought your ticket, you will still need to wait in line. So even if is the subordinating conjunction. Let's look at the conjunction while. While I was waiting in line for the M.F. Hussain exhibit, I ate my lunch. So while is the subordinating conjunction in this case. Let's see another conjunction, because. I love M.F. Hussain's work because he uses color so brilliantly. So why do I love M.F. Hussain's work? The reason is that he uses color so brilliantly. In this case, because is doing the task of giving a reason, and at the same time it is joining one sentence to another sentence. I'm sure by now you're very clear about what subordinating conjunctions are and how to use them correctly in a sentence. What we are going to do now is an exercise. I will read some sentences which have blanks. You've got these sentences in your workbooks. What you also have is certain options, and you have to choose the correct conjunction for each sentence. Sentence 1. You can come to the meeting, dash, you don't say anything. The options are A, so that, B, as long as, C, while, D, until, and E, as if. Try and see which makes sense. I'll repeat the sentence. You can come to the meeting, dash, you don't say anything. And your options are A, so that, B, as long as, C, while, D, until, and E, as if. What do you think is the correct answer? Should I help you with this one? Okay, the answer to this question is you can come to the meeting as long as you don't say anything. Okay, I've helped you with the first one, but you've got to do the rest by yourself. So let's look at sentence 2 now. I'm not leaving, dash, I get an apology from you. A, so that, B, as long as, C, while, D, until, and E, as if. Be careful while choosing your option. I'll read the sentence once again. I'm not leaving, dash, I get an apology from you. A, so that, B, as long as, C, while, D, until, and E, as if. Let's look at another sentence. I came here, dash, you could give me an explanation. The options are A, so that, B, as long as, C, while, D, until, and E, as if. I'll repeat. I came here, dash, you could give me an explanation. A, so that, B, as long as, C, while, D, until, and E, as if. Sentence 4. Bob is very tall, dash, Bill is very short. Now if you notice, there is a contrast of some sort. I've already given you a hint. Now you better get the right answer. Your options are as long as, so that, while, until, and as if. Bob is very tall, dash, Bill is very short. Options are A, so that, B, as long as, C, while, D, until, and E, as if. Sentence 5. You look, dash, you've seen a ghost. A, so that, B, as long as, C, while, D, until, and E, as if. You look, dash, you've seen a ghost. A, so that, B, as long as, C, while, D, until, and E, as if. Okay, I'm sure you're eager to know what the solutions to these sentences are. Let's start with sentence 1. You can come to the meeting as long as you don't say anything. I'd already given you the solution to this one. So let's look at sentence number 2. I'm not leaving until I get an apology from you. This means there is a condition that I will only leave once I get an apology from you. Sentence 3. I came here so that you could give me an explanation. So here we are giving a reason why this person came here, because he or she wanted to get an explanation. Sentence 4. Bob is very tall while Bill is very short. Here there is a contrast between the two, which is highlighted with the help of while. So there is an opposition. Sentence 5. You look as if you've seen a ghost. So the person has not really seen a ghost, but as if is drawing a comparison, that you look almost like you've seen a ghost. Now this brings us to the end of today's session, but not before we recap what we've done in today's session. We learnt about the definition of conjunctions. What else did we do? Yes, the various types of conjunctions. That is, coordinating conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions, correlative conjunctions. So what are coordinating conjunctions? Coordinating conjunction is a word which joins together two sentences, both of which are equally important. For example, it was raining and I took my umbrella. So the word and is joining two independent sentences. It was raining and I took my umbrella. They are independent sentences because each one makes complete sense by itself. And the task of joining these two independent sentences is that of coordinating conjunctions. I also told you about various types of coordinating conjunctions, especially 6 conjunctions, which can be remembered with the help of the word fanboys. F stands for for, A for and, N for nor, B for but, O for or, Y stands for yet, and S for so. Remember, when using a conjunction to join two independent sentences, always use a comma before the conjunction. Now we also did subordinating conjunctions. So what are subordinating conjunctions? Subordinators are usually a single word, but some of them are also multi-word. They can be classified according to their use in regard to time, cause and effect, opposition, or condition. Remember to put a comma at the end of the adverbial phrase when it comes before the main sentence. Now also let's take a look at various subordinating conjunctions with respect to time, cause and effect, opposition, and condition. I'll give you 2 examples of each. Subordinating conjunctions with respect to time, before and while. 2 examples of cause and effect are since and in order that. For opposition, we use conjunctions like even though and while. To imply a condition, we use conjunctions such as whether or not and in case. Today, you also did a 3rd type of conjunctions, which are correlative conjunctions. What are correlative conjunctions? You're right. These are conjunctions which are always used in pairs. They do the task of joining similar elements. In case in a sentence there is a singular and plural subject mentioned, the subject closest to the verb determines whether the verb is singular or plural. I'll give you some examples of correlative conjunctions. Both and. For example, you might say Rima is both intelligent and beautiful. Another example is whether or. Whether or not you go for the party, he will be unhappy. This brings us to the end of today's session. So that's it for today, but remember to practice and practice hard. See you again for your next session. Bye-bye.